Well, a lot went into the evolution of the logo. Initially, when we created the logo, we wanted to create something that, you know, all of the young men that had, attend the summit could see themselves in. It was a very simple logo at first, but, you know, when we started to get into our third year, I believe, of the summit, it was something that we realized, like, that we wanted to change, so that when we put it on apparel, it was something that we felt comfortable with. We felt like it was something that didn't necessarily overshadow the other one, but was more of an extension of the logo that we had prior. We connected with Harry Hill at Fillmore 88, and we did a rebranding project, and it was an important time period for us because we're thinking about what we want to build to be, and we wanted to have a logo that kind of spoke to that. And you know, we had a couple of months of phone conversations, so it wasn't just like a couple of conversations and a beautiful logo appeared. It was something that we were diligent about and intentional about, you know, creating a logo that would last. And I feel like Harry did an awesome job at executing that.
And that was the inspiration behind that. So the climate that we're in nationally, I'll say, and even locally, is that, you know, a lot of black and brown young men being targeted, accused, you know, blamed for, you know, very negative things, but not many of them were being highlighted for the talent they had, or, you know, the potential that was being missed because it's being overshadowed by negativity. And so as we're continuing to like construct kings or build our brothers up, we need to change that focus of the target. And so the target now is because you are exceptional, and not because you're presenting exceptional work, but because we know you're exceptional. And so we have to change the messaging within that. And so having the talented, targeted, and triumphant is kind of that step. I was thinking, right? So we already know they're talented, right? So they're birthed, they're here on this earth, they're doing great things, whether they're being recognized for it or not. And so then targeting them, so making sure we're identifying and saying, you're great, you're doing great things, and you have potential to do better. And then get into that last portion of triumphant. There's the victory in that, or the realization of success. So, can't buy swag. We're also trying to provide you with some skills on presenting good etiquette, or proper etiquette. So when I say that word etiquette, what comes to mind? Yes, sir.
What I think that comes to mind is, I think, manners and like how you're dressed well and how you dress yourself.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man? How you doing? Good?
One Saturday morning, man. I'm trying to copy Smith J. So I wrote.
Saturday morning?
Yeah.
Yes, man. You know, I don't have nothing else to do.
You got the money?
Of course I got the money. What are you talking about? You see how I'm dressed today?
What
are they, like $85?
No, they $250.
Excellent. So we looked up Webster's Dictionary's definition of etiquette. It told us the conduct or procedure required by good breeding or prescribed by authority to be observed in social and official life. Having good manners, presenting good manners, knowing appropriate time and place for certain actions.
So, alternative word for cool, right? Being authentic, I heard that. Being original, I heard that as well. Being yourself and not fronting, right?
Or putting on airs. She always leaves that one for me, right? Pretty much Not out here trying to be somebody that you're not. So, Mr. Bateman, I was reading over some reports and your name came up. You presented a very good response for the grant application we're looking for, and it's worth over $100 million. It's pretty amazing. I have to ask you one thing. Are you going to be able to deliver as you have in the past?
Most definitely will.
Right. Well, you know, we're going to go through the review, and then we'll kind of, you know, we'll give you a call very soon.
Much appreciated.
All right. You like your personal brand? Personal brand. Were you here 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Told you somebody'd say it. No.
Build is passionate about providing resources to families. We really care about our youth here in the city, and then our boys get to take away experiences and different knowledge, you know, onto their daily life, which I think will help them grow and continue to want to come back every year.
The parents, they're able to get support themselves, right? You know, because a lot of them have to develop with the times and develop with technology and, you know, the social media era that we're in right now, and everything's evolving so fast. They need answers as well. So, you know, I feel like the summit offers them an opportunity to get that space to vent, to process some of the things that are going on in their lives, and then all together, we're all able to learn from each other and really kind of process how the day impacted us. So overall, collaboration and really coming together as a collective is the biggest thing in my book.
And you mentioned also, I don't want to rant, but you mentioned also about, like, I had to readjust my expectations. My son will never be, let's go catch, let's go play catch. My son will never be like, let's go shoot hoops. He has no interest in that. So I had to readjust my expectations. Let's go to a video. Let's go click around on your PC and create a game. That's what we do. So it took a lot of understanding where I was with my son. I come from the old school. Basketball, football, baseball. Go out to the park. What are you doing in the house? Get your butt out there. That's where I come from. Now it's like, let's log on. Let's have an experience.
But I was talking with someone in the hotel I was staying, because she had mentioned she was from the Bronx, and her mom moved to Springfield because she thought it was safer. But now she has a 13-year-old son who she's very afraid for, because she says, you know, life outside, no matter where you're from, is dangerous. We know, you know, color of your skin, you know, a lot of things are going on. So she says she keeps him home. She doesn't even want him going outdoors, because she's afraid, and that's the reality. I prefer, you know, sometimes it's stressful to let my son be on the PC for a little longer than usual, but you know what? What's the alternative? I mean, to be out there hanging out in the wrong place? No, you know, with the wrong people, I'd rather have him home.
So my husband is actually proudly born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts, and we met while I was in college at Mount Holyoke, which is not too far from Springfield. Actually, it's maybe a 20-minute drive. So Springfield was always a part of my life since college. Yeah, I've learned so much. I think the main thing for me is about well, the importance of self-care, right? Because at some point, all of us that work with Build and work with the youth that we get, whose life we get to touch, We were all young at some point, and so these systems impacted us and our loved ones. So I think it's really, self-care is key. And just realizing that I can't support my husband, the work he's doing, the work Build is doing, or the work I'm doing if I'm an empty vessel. So constantly practicing self-care and being a model for that for youth that we work with. And also the importance of empowerment. Like, I have to stay empowered, and there's things that I do to self-care and to continue to develop that within myself, because what we're really doing is we're empowering the community of Springfield, Massachusetts, and we hope to be able to do this and bring this summit to other communities. And so it's really about the importance of staying empowered and being clear about why we're doing this work, staying clear about the vision, about the purpose, and just working together, because in order to build community empowerment, we have to empower one another. We have to continue to be on the same page, and just whatever it takes, it has to get done. We do it together, and there's a shared sense of passion around the work that we're doing. So definitely self-care and empowerment.
You know, in the long run, it'll always be me who'll come back and apologize and say, baby, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. So all I have to say about that is, I truly believe that love
If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I have a blank piece of paper in there for you guys. If you have any notes that you want to take or feedback. I always like to do my introductions by talking about where the schools that I went to here in the city. So I went to Frederick Harris, Kylie, Central. I'm in. So then I went to Central after that, Westfield State, UConn, and now I go here. So pretty much what today we're going to do is we're going to talk about the impact of hip-hop and healthy coping. So coping skills are pretty much ways that we regulate our thoughts, our feelings, and our thoughts, feelings, and behavior, right? Who knows the name of the song? Me. Oh. What's the original? I always play tricks. How many tricks on me? Who said that? Keep 5 tickets back there. He said it too. All right, 5 and 5. We need 5 and 5 right here. Got 5? That's what I'm talking about.
10 years from now, it'll be a professor over the classroom breaking down this rap to kids and why things was like this in the ghetto. Like, sometimes I'll be around like billionaires, super billionaires, and they be like, yo, break down African Americans to me, like, because I don't want to misjudge you guys. And I break it down to them. These dudes be around Trump like that. They might be able to give some influence to this dude. Like, I'm telling them, this kids in the house, they daddy's been locked away their whole life, and then they have a kid, they get locked away and growing up in the wild. Ain't nobody teach you no rules. Nobody gonna teach you to say thank you. Nobody gonna teach you how to conduct yourself. You gotta learn that all on your own, and that's just a generational thing. And I try to give it to him as a young guy that's on his way to being successful.
Scars by Meek Mill? Yeah. You got that song on there? What? Remind you of times you had to pick yourself up when you were hurt. Big percent. Right here, right? Oh, Meek Mill Shine. Meek Mill Shine, why? Positive mood helps you think about your future. Great. Tunnel Vision by Kodak Black, why? Every day before you go to bed? Helps you relax? Save Me by Meek Mill, why? Okay, struggles he had to go through. Great. Humble by Kendrick, why? Wow. Had to humble himself because he was doing too much and had to say that again? Finding himself and pretty much not going with the crowd, right? Finding what works for you. How many people saw Black Panther already? Yeah. So, you like it? Right? So for my co-facilitator, Cedric, can you name a song that helps you? I Get the Bag by Gucci Mane, why? Motivates him to make money. Right. Especially where he's at right now. He's in high school, thinking about that next step. There's a huge transition coming. Cedric, like I said, Cedric has helped out with a lot of different things that I've worked on so far. And being a young guy inspires me a lot. And we just kind of play off of that with, kind kind of work together on that. So.
A quick introduction about myself. My name is Cedric Blackman. I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts, and I go to Hampton Charter in Chicopee. I'm an 11th grader. Being a dual enrollment student is sometimes troubling, but I actually enjoy it because you can see the contrast between high school and college, and it also actually makes you want to get out of high school even more because the college classes are a lot more interesting. In the summertime when I was doing dual enrollment, I lost a lot of friends because I didn't have a lot of time to do anything at all, and it was really stressful. But then I aligned dual enrollment and friends at the same time because I was making friends in the dual enrollment classes and hanging out with them after classes, and that helped a lot. What makes you successful is achieving whatever goals you have, whether that be to make a follow shot, get a high school diploma, get a college degree. As long as you're achieving your goals, in my mind, you're successful. I think fear is also a great motivator. Achieving things that you are scared of, whether it be a fear of spiders, a fear of roller coasters, once you achieve that, you feel great and the fear is gone. After high school, I would like to serve in the Marines for hopefully about 8 years, and then go into either private security or homeland security. Being from Springfield, I think it's actually a big deal. We aren't as recognized as we should be, and it seems like our community has lacked importance despite all the work that has been done. Like, I think we need more community building groups like Build to build the youth up. And I feel like since I'm from Springfield, I have to work harder than people from neighboring communities. A lot of things keep me going, like my mother, Sadell, even my little sisters keep me going. I try to find inspiration out of everything I see. So even the movies, the cars and clothes, those inspire me to do better. That not only, especially when I see young black men like myself having businesses, making millions, that inspires me to do better.
It is convenient to say that everything else is the reason that things are not going your way. But know this, at the end of the day, you and only you will be held accountable for getting out of that tough situation. Because it's not how bad you want it, it's about how hard you're willing to work for it that truly matters.
I would say one of my favorite memories would be last year's summit when we had a DJ. We had DJ Big Man actually come in and DJ during the summit, actually speak to the youth, and just the way that all the youth gravitated towards him during his DJing sessions off to the side, and really having kids that are interested in that career field now. Those kids didn't have an understanding of what it was to be a DJ, what it entailed, how to get to that actual level. And I think that having him speak organically and being really authentic in his approach to speaking with everyone, that was one of my biggest takeaways, I would say. We had a lot of good gems and nuggets, so to speak, but I think that just watching the kids gravitate to him and really be impressed by his approach to them, because they hear him on the radio. So for them to see him in person and have to have an opportunity to interact with him, it was very impactful.
And so being able to be a part of such a great summit or experience, you're doing some things that some of your peers are not. You're investing in yourself, you're taking a chance to improve, to put yourself in the same space as people who care for you, you know, and so you're triumphant because you're just taking that opportunity that's being given to you and, you know, making the best out of it. And so having that inspiration and that idea, you know, we knew we could put that into, you know, our program and have our workshops to follow, to really connect with the young men. And, you know, they had a great time, experiences that we didn't even plan for them to have. And, you know, I think it lived up to its name, you know, for the theme.
Network of people who you know, right? And so we want to be able to say, me and Dwight are friends. He's part of my network. So if I need something, I can call Dwight and be like, yo, Dwight, I need some, we're working on something. I need to connect with you. And it's building that friendship and the people around you know what you call the network.
Yeah, and think about what we're talking about now. It's network equals network. So, you know, that interconnected group of people, you know, that meaning for me, it equals, you know, your network, ultimately what you can get out of it.
Someone said money earlier, right? So it's not, your network isn't always going to necessarily connect you to making some money, right? But it definitely could, right? So you want to be able to, so for example, as you guys get older, you guys figure out new different ideas that you want to be able to work on, some of the things that you do could generate into money. The best way to do that is to do it with people who you know have the skills to be able to do those particular activities and be able to kind of make sure that your group around you is someone you trust, right? Someone you know who's going to bring value to the relationship, someone you can bring value to them in the relationship, right? So it's just as important that you yourself are bringing good characteristics to the relationship, and then around that group of people together can then actually build something that's going to be beneficial, right? So for example, today came together because of a network of friends who decided to come together with an idea to put on a summit for you guys, right?
All the guys up on that stage, including myself and Nate, you know, that's a form of a network. You all here today, that's a form of a network.
Question is, you know, were there any pressures that Build faced, you know, going into year 4, which was 2018? I would say the answer is yes. You know, at that time, you know, I believe that our goal was to make sure that that year, obviously more than others, perhaps, it was important for us to connect as deeply as possible with the young men and ensure that we did our part to tell them, to demonstrate to them their level of worth, to themselves, you know, to their families, to the places where they go to school and the places where they live overall.
I feel like incentives is what draws people to programs. I feel like if they feel like there's something that they're gonna ultimately get out of it, and that it's something that's like upfront, that they're more inclined to show up and give their best effort. One thing that we've had in the previous years is we've had you know, promotional items from the OKC Thunder, and the kids every year are, you know, pretty excited about those items. And you know, we kind of use those things as incentives to get them in the door, but by the time that they leave, that's usually one of the last things that they're talking about. It's one of the first things to get them in the door, but you know, the experience that they have there is priceless. And for anyone who hasn't been, I would encourage them to go, because my words would not do the experience any justice. I feel like there's a particular presence that is around that you can only experience through actually being at the Constructing Kings Milieu Summit.
Hello, my name is Will Dawkins. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time to share my story with you guys. I'm happy and honored to be able to do this. I was born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts. Went to Milton Bradley Elementary School just down the street, then went on to Forest Park Middle School before attending the High School of Commerce. Back in 2004, we were fortunate enough to do some pretty special things. Won the Western Mass title, and then went on to win the state title, which was really important to me to bring that back to the city. So while I was one of the best players in the state at the time, I didn't realize that that wasn't good enough, because I was only working hard enough to outwork the peers near me. I didn't realize that basketball was being judged on a national level, and now even more so on a global level. So while the Division I offers didn't come, fortunately, my mom always pressed academics. She's a middle school teacher, elementary school teacher for over 30 years. Maybe some of you guys had her, Mrs. Cato. So while it wasn't easy to stay on my academics and I had my ups and downs, I kind of stayed with it and kept myself eligible. So by the time my guidance counselors worked with me and other schools started looking at me at Division II and Division III, I was able to go to Emerson College in downtown Boston and get my degree in broadcast journalism. And while I didn't use that degree, another door opened while I was there. And it's only because I was in that situation and put myself in place to receive the blessing to where my coach at the end of my 4 years hooked me up with an internship with the Seattle Supersonics. And from that day forward, I realized that I wasn't going to let another opportunity go past me because I wasn't working my hardest. So kind of put my head down, and fortunately, 11 years later, I look up, I'm with the Oklahoma City Thunder as assistant general manager and vice president of basketball identification and intelligence. So my story that I just want to share with you guys is the world is much bigger than Springfield, Massachusetts. And don't limit yourself, don't limit your thinking, seek opportunities, try different things, and at the end of the day, when you get that opportunity, don't let anyone take it away and try your hardest, because at the time I thought I was working hard, but I really wasn't, and I was letting opportunities get by me. So I wish you guys all the best. Feel free to reach out to me if you guys need anything. I'm proud to try to support all of you guys and help you out wherever I can. Thank you.